Mini Football, it's the GC here. So yeah, and yet another tough day. It's Bitcoin's fault, not ours. So Bitcoin came down again today, just testing the about the 19.5 mark. Had a little bit of reaction to that, and obviously then it started to come back up a little bit. We've got a little bit of upside here on the MACD, but you can see we've kind of got upside down. It is a little bit tricky. It is obviously a Sunday, so there isn't as much volume in the market. So you know people can move Bitcoin a little bit easier. When it's a weekend, because a lot of the big institutions are obviously playing. Do expect obviously Wednesday it'll be the big day for Bitcoin to see what happens there, because that's when the interest rates get announced. And that could obviously have an impact on what Bitcoin does next. But regarding ourselves, again, still holding our own. We're not dumping. I mean, I've got other tokens that I keep an eye on from other players, other projects, and they're having a much harder time. They've had no fucking upside whatsoever where we have. I have possibly done a recount on this move here. So this was the wave. One, which obviously has 5 moves in itself, so we came obviously up in a 1, down in a 2, the big 3, down in a 4, and then up in a 5. And then initially I thought we'd come down in a 1, up in a 2, then down in a 3, and then we were starting the wave 3, and that was the wave 1 of, and then we were starting to head up. And that still could be the case. We have just corrected a little bit lower on this wave 2 here than I expected. I kind of thought we'd turn around about the 0.786 and then start heading upwards, and we still may. Bitcoin's obviously turning, so that may obviously correct us as well. But it could be an actual fact that it was a bigger ABC, so it came down in an A, up in a B, and then down in a C. Now the C shouldn't go any lower than obviously the wave 2 here, and it shouldn't really get in the way of wave 1. So we would expect, if it is a kind of a lower correction, then we should come down to either between the 382 and the 0.5. Now if we come down to the 0.6 and then start heading upwards, that would suggest the first count was correct. Because if this is a wave C, it should come lower than the wave A. So it just depends on where we're at on that. Now, if Bitcoin obviously comes down quite a bit, and then that obviously pulls BNB down, and we start heading to about here, it could be that Bitcoin goes down to about $16,000, and we could stop around about sort of here. If Bitcoin does come down to around about 16, I think that could be the end of the bear market. I think that would be the low people are expecting. I mean, it could go a little bit lower than that, but that's I think people will be quite happy to be getting in Bitcoin at 16, and that could start the bull market, or certainly start to see sort of more positives, because obviously the lower would be in. So we'll just have to see what happens. So there may be a little bit of downturn from MFT, so don't worry too much about that. And just depending on if this is a wave C, or if this is just the wave 1 then wave 2, depends on where we sort of end up. So I'll keep an eye on that, and as soon as I know more, I will let you know. So yeah, just in the short term, do expect a little bit of downside. Fingers crossed we start turning around here and then continue on the wave 3. But obviously it does depend a little bit on big fish and what they're doing outside in their pond. It does affect obviously what we do in ours. So keep the faith, keep the coin, and let's go!